Hey everyone, my name is Bridget and welcome to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I breed my mealworms and my superworms. Let me first start off by saying that I know my voice sounds really strange right now. I'm getting over a sickness, so I don't sound exactly the way that I normally do, so just try and ignore that to the best of your ability. It definitely is uncomfortable for me. It doesn't feel good to talk right now. Just trying to get through as best I can, so just ignore my voice. I know that people breed these insects a lot, and everyone has different methods of doing that, and there's really no right or wrong way to do this. Whatever works for you is great, but I thought that my method was pretty unique and I wanted to share that with you because I use a little bit of a tier system. This is definitely not an original idea. I've seen this a couple of times. I actually got this idea from a leopard gecko breeder that I met at an expo. On his Facebook page, he showed the whole process of how he does this, and I thought it was really unique and I wanted to give it a try myself, and I kind of think it's genius and it works out really well for me, so I wanted to put it together on my own and film it for you guys to share with you in case you want to give it a try yourself. So the way that this goes is you basically have one box where your beetles live, and as they lay eggs and they have babies and everything, you have a little bit of a mesh system at the bottom that falls into a second box where all the little babies and the frass and eggs and everything fall through there, and they hatch there and they can grow up. So they're not interfering with the beetles or anything, and the beetles can't eat them or anything like that. They are in their own little container. And a little while later, the baby box is then dumped into an intermediate box, and they grow up in there a little bit, and then the intermediate box is then transferred to a grow out tub. So I know it sounds a little bit confusing, but as I go through the video, you'll see what I'm talking about and the different transfers and the way that the boxes are created and everything. And then originally this video was only going to be mealworms, but I decided to show how I breed the superworms as well because it's really simple. And these are definitely insects that I go through a lot here, so it helps me have free food in a sense, and it's just better and makes more sense economically to breed my own. It's going phenomenally. I'm getting a lot of babies out of this and I'm very excited, so I definitely wanted to share it with you guys. If anything is confusing to you guys or you have any questions, you can comment down below and ask me anything, or you can message me on my social media and I will be happy to answer any questions for you. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get into the video of how I breed my mealworms and my superworms. As always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into today's video.
All right, let's talk about the supplies I've used for this project. First up, I grabbed some inexpensive tubs. These are just 6-quart tubs by Stairlight, and I purchased 7 for this project. Next up, we have the screen material that I used. The first roll of screen shown here is by Pfeiffer, and it is a standard window and door screen. So the squares are small, but they're big enough for baby worms to fall through. The second roll of screen shown here is also by Pfeiffer, and it is more of a lightweight solar type of screen. The squares are also super tiny on this, but they are smaller so that the juvenile worms can't fall through, but their frass does fall through. So now we will move on to building the tubs. We made 2 tubs with the larger screen for baby worms and 1 tub with the smaller screen for just frass. Y'all know I make my husband do all the dirty work, so here he is getting it done. He first drew out a rectangle in the center of the tubs about 1 inch from the edge on all sides, and then cut it out using his Dremel. He did this for all 3 tubs, of course. And he had a little mishap on this one, but we could still use it. Once that centerpiece was removed, he got started on the beetle tubs. He cut out the larger screen to the size of the tub and attached it to the outside of the bottom of the tub using hot glue. Once all the screen was glued down, he just cut off the excess screen, and then he added a bit more hot glue to really hold it down. Next, he added little foam squares about 1 inch thick to all 4 corners. That way the tub can sit inside the second tub, which is where the babies will be, so there'd be room underneath for the babies to not be crushed. Then he did the exact same thing for the frass tub. He cut out the smaller screen to the size of the tub and attached it to the outside of the bottom of the tub using hot glue. He added more hot glue to this one as well, just to really hold it down, and he added foam blocks to all 4 corners. And now the first 3 tubs are complete. Now we need to make the bedding for the worms. So I like to use regular old-fashioned rolled oats for my insects, and for the tiniest of the baby worms, I decided to grind up the oatmeal into a very fine powder. That way they have an easier time eating it if they want, and it's softer for them to live in. For the juvenile worms, I decided to pulse the oatmeal rather than grind it fully so that it creates some fine powder, but still has a few larger oatmeal pieces. Probably not necessary, but I do like the texture change. Alright, so now let's put these tubs together. We have a beetle tub on top of a baby worm tub, an intermediate tub for larger babies, and a grow out tub on top of a frass tub for growing juveniles. So first up, we have a beetle tub and a baby worm tub. The beetle tub houses all of my mealworm beetles that will live their merry lives, eating great food and making mealworm babies for me. So as they do their thing, all of their frass as well as their brand new babies and even some eggs will fall to the empty tub underneath them. This is the baby worm tub. So when setting them up, I first add a layer of the powdered oatmeal to the bottom tub, which is the baby worm tub, and then I place the beetle tub on top. I then add a nice layer of regular oatmeal to the beetle tub, add in all of my beetles, and then I add some great veggies for them to eat, as well as a little extra powdered oatmeal. Then I just pop on the lid and wait. Nothing happens quite yet to the intermediate tub, so we'll get to that in just a moment, but this is where the tiniest baby worms are going to move into. Then I have my grow out and frass tubs here. The grow out portion sits on top, and the frass falls to the bottom. We also don't have to worry about this just yet. So then here is the fun part. Let's see what we have 1 week into breeding. First, I take my beetle and baby worm tubs and I give them a gentle shake so that any loose babies can fall through the holes. And ta-da! I've got a few tiny, tiny baby worms. Now let's see what we have 2 weeks into breeding. I give them a gentle shake again and ta-da! More baby worms. How about we find out what we have 1 month into breeding? Look at all those babies! Now I think we're ready for that intermediate tub I mentioned before. So I don't do anything special really, I just dump the baby worms right into the tub. Pretty simple. And then the beetles can start again, and in another month I'll have more babies to add to this intermediate tub. And you know, while I'm at it, I figured I'd go ahead and get my grow out tub ready because in a month I'll be adding this very batch of babies into that grow out tub. So then here's what we've got going on about 2 months into breeding. The grow out tub is looking nice and full, but the babies aren't quite ready to be fed off yet. However, 3 months into breeding, I'd say they are ready to move into the feeding container. And just look at all those mealworms I produced all by myself. These guys get plopped right into my feeding container, which has regular oatmeal as bedding. They get some yummy veggies to get them nice and gut loaded, and they'll be gobbled up by my geckos in no time. And then the process begins again. The beetles continue living their merry lives, making me lots more mealworm babies. Those babies get moved into the intermediate tub, and so on and so forth. Here's just a quick view of the worm sizes. The small is from the intermediate tub, the medium is from the grow out tub, and the large is from the feeding container. And you know, while we're at it, let's quickly go over how I breed my superworms. To make my beetles, because they don't pupate around the other worms, they must be separated. I take this fishing lure box and section it out for about 8 to 16 worms. I then grab some nice big juicy superworms and I place 1 in each section. I decided to do 8 this go round. Then after about 4 to 7 days, I'd say, the superworms begin to curl up into little O's or C's, and this means they're preparing to pupate. After another 3 or 4 days or so, the worms then become these alien looking pupa. It's so weird. They also start out very light in color, but they'll darken up the closer they get to emerging as beetles. So they remain this way for about another 3 to 4 days, I'd say, and then boom! You got beetles. The beetles are also very light in color, but will darken up over just a few days. So then I just add my new beetles into the beetle container and give them some veggies as well. Alright, so I wanted to quickly show my superworm breeding bin. It didn't work out the same way that the mealworms did, so I have to do theirs a little bit differently. And I did some research, and most people have success only putting a little bit of egg crate in one tub that doesn't have any extra bottom or anything to it. It's just the substrate and your egg crate, and they'll kind of hang out on here and lay their eggs underneath it, and then we have babies.
and I will just clean it out as necessary because the babies are bigger, so I'm able to pick them out. Superworm breeding bin, pretty simple, not exactly the same as the mealworms, but same principle for the most part. You need beetles, you need substrate, you need food, and they give you babies. So then in the back of this shelf right here, I have my intermediate tub for the babies. Then I have my grow out tub on top of my frass tub, and then right in front of those I have my beetle tub on top of my baby tub that they fall down into, and I have my superworm breeding tub. And there's everything for my breeding project. Well, alright guys, that's gonna be it for my video today, just showing you how I breed my mealworms and my superworms and my unique tiered system. Hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please give us a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button on your way out. I really appreciate it. Also hit the notification bell so you can know when I upload next, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!